up, everybody? I'm your host, Richard Prophet, and welcome back to the Prophet Realty Group channel, where we talk about everything and anything related to real estate. Today, I'm trying out a new camera. My boy, by Mikey, blessed me with this fancy camera. I'm not that well versed on it yet. I know it can do like all sorts of crazy things, like check this out. If I tap on, see how it just zoomed in there on the King's watch? Yeah, then I can just zoom back out. I mean, yeah, it can do a lot of crazy things. But today we're not talking watches. Today we're talking about cigars. Now, let's go. Now, for a while we've been talking about cigars. I've showed you different types of cigars. We've talked about my humidor. We've talked about several different things. So when you first start getting into cigars, whether you're going to a cigar lounge or let's say you smoke at home, you smoke outside, you smoke in your yard, you smoke in your balcony, whatever. As you progress into cigars, like when you go to these shops or whatever, they have matches for you there. They'll have different cutters, they'll have ashtrays and stuff. But as you progress further, deeper into the hobby, you're going to start wanting to get your own stuff. Like me, even when I go out to the cigar shop, shout out to all of my bros back at the cigar shop anyway. But anyway, when I go to the cigar shop, you know, even though they have these things there for you to use, I like to, you know, I like to bring my own stuff. I like to have my own stuff. So today we are going to cover the three cigar must-have, three essential must-have items that once you progress into the hobby, you're going to want to get. Now, these items are tried and true. I've been through a lot of things, and I've landed on these three, and I decided to share them here with you. And hopefully, you know, if you're looking for items to try, you can try these out and tell me what you think. Now, the first out of the three is going to be a cutter. No matter if you smoke cigars at home, you smoke them in the park, or you smoke them in a lounge, you're going to use a cutter. Now, this cutter here is Cuban Crafters. It's a cutter by Cuban Crafters. It's not that expensive, and there's a lot more expensive cutters out there, but I really think this cutter is phenomenal. This cutter deserves its own video, which I'm going to do in the future. But for right now, we're just going to touch on some of the basics of it. I mean, you know, I don't know how many of these cutters I've ordered already, because I can't keep them. Every time somebody sees it, they fall in love with it, and I have to gift it to them, because this actually is another one. Because people, they love this particular cutter. A great thing about this cutter is when you get this cutter, it comes with this lifetime warranty. If anything ever goes bad with your cutter, all you do is put it in a self-addressed envelope, you mail it back, and they'll mail you a brand new cutter free of charge. And that's right there with every cutter. Now, let me show you the cutter. This cutter is stainless steel construction. It's got some heft to it. I mean, again, you can get a much more expensive cutter, but this by far, and I've tried a lot of them, this by far is the very best. It's self-sharpening. Whenever you go like this, you're sharpening your blades. It's a double guillotine blade, and whenever you open it and close it, you're sharpening your blade, so you always get that, you know, that pristine cut. And one of the great things about this cutter is, you see that? If you can see in there, let me see if I can use this. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, if you see in there, this cutter has a back, an inside to it. So you can never cut off more than you want of your cigar. It always gives you the perfect cut every single time. Every single time you cut your cigar, you take the exact perfect amount off. And you can cut regular cigars, ring gauge cigars, and you can also cut, you know, torpedo types. You know, they'll stick right in there. And if you ever want a little more off the cigar, take it again. This cutter is phenomenal. I love this cutter. And yeah, everybody, I think this should be your one and only cutter. This cutter really, hands down, is probably one of the best cutters around. I love this cutter by Cuban Crafters. So that is cigar must-have number one. It's going to get his own whole video soon. That's number one. Number two, you got to get yourself a lighter. I mean, you got to get yourself a lighter. Now, lighters are, you know, they begin at very inexpensive, and they can, you know, escalate nicely, you know, to $150. But somewhere in between is something like this. This is what's called a cigar torch lighter. This one in particular is by Vertigo. I think it's called the Bond lighter. It's got this black, it just feels great in the hand. It's a tabletop lighter. It stands up, but it's also at the size where you can still fit it in your pocket, fit it in your jeans pocket, whatever it is. I think this is a phenomenal lighter. I love the construction. I love the feel in the hand. This vertical right there. I get my stuff engraved. Let me see if you can see that. See right there what that says? I put my name, Profit, on everything I own. Yeah, so check out the flame on this lighter. Check this out. I mean, I think this lighter is awesome. You know, you're out in the park, you're in the balcony, you're out somewhere, you hit the flame on this. There's no wind gonna knock this off. You sit it down on the table. You can lay it down flat. You can't lose it. Engrave your name on it. I mean, you know, I've been through a lot of lighters. You know, I'm not knocking Calibri or, you know, any other of these lighters. You know, they're great too. But if you want a great mid-range lighter, I think Vertigo really has it down. You know, they really, I love this lighter. You toast your cigars, you light them. I mean, this lighter just, it does everything. It's phenomenal. Probably deserves its own video too. But all right, so that is number two of the cigar must-have essentials. Number three. Now, if you're smoking at home, if you smoke in your yard, your patio, your back porch, your front porch, or if you have a balcony or a terrace, you smoke in your terrace, you are, you know, we're past the level, you know, this is not cigarettes. We're not half filling a cup of water and putting our ash in there. No, we're smoking cigars, right? So, you know, there's a little class to it. So you're going to have to get yourself an ashtray, you know, preferably a nice ashtray. You know, I've tried a few. I've tried glass, crystal, plastic. And for some reason, I don't know, these ashtrays, they just don't work for me. Because they get scratched, or, you know, on the crystal, the little slots, they're too thin, so your cigar falls off, especially if it's windy, or they pick up this bad smell. Now, I have settled on a marble ashtray. Now, this is a genuine marble ashtray by Bay Burke. It's called a Square Black Zebra Ashtray at Bay Burke International. I mean, this ashtray is phenomenal. This is actually my second one. I had to gift somebody one, but here it is. I'll give you a little close-up on that. Okay, this is the ashtray. It's got this zebra pattern. It's got a nice weight to it because it's genuine marble. It never has a smell. No matter how many cigars you put into it, it just never gets a smell. It has a nice weight to it. You put it outside. You put it on your balcony. You know, no matter how windy it is, like, you know, we here, you know, I'm on the water, so we get a lot more wind, and, you know, there's been no wind that can knock this off, you know, knock this off of my balcony. Under there, it says genuine marble. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, and then the slots here. It has these 4 big slots. Let me zoom in on them, see if you can see that. All right, it has these 4 big cigar slots here. Not like those little skinny slots that I was mentioning before, like you might get with the crystal or you might get with the plastic. These 4 big, you know, these are specifically for cigars, right? So you have your cigar, you're puffing your cigar, and you can sit it down flat on one of these slots. So that way your cigar is ashing and it doesn't move. It won't roll away. And this ring gauge, I've smoked up to, I believe, a 56, and I put it in here with no problem. So, yeah, so I recommend, you know, get yourself a nice marble ashtray. I mean, they got it in, I think they got it in a couple colors. I know there's the black with the white. I think they had one other color, but yeah, yeah. So I recommend, these are my 3 cigar must-haves. Once you progress into the hobby, now you're no longer a beginner, you're moving on to novice category, not novice, more intermediate sort of category. You want to get yourself a good marble ashtray. You want to get yourself, you know, a great lighter, a lighter that, you know, that you're just comfortable with, and you don't want to go too crazy with the money with the lighters, because sometimes lighters get lost or they get misplaced. But a lighter like this, it's not too crazy. It's not that cheap, but it's not too crazy on the price either, and it's just, like I said, it's a phenomenal lighter. I mean, this thing almost looks like, you know, a welder's torch. This is just a great windproof cigar torch. And I got my name engraved on the back. Can you see that? All right. And number 3, again, hands down, my absolute favorite cigar cutter. I mean, you know, if you're just a regular clean cut, V-cut or whatever, you know, that's something else. But a regular clean cut cigar lighter, this is a absolute must-have. This cigar lighter, you have to pick it up. I'm sorry, the cigar cutter, you have to pick it up by Cuban Crafters. It's absolutely phenomenal investment, lifetime guarantee, stainless steel construction. It's got some nice heft to it. It gives you the perfect cut every time, and every time you use it, it self-sharpens. And this thing is indestructible, and I can't hang on to them, because whenever somebody sees it, they want it, and I have to give them away. So, yeah. So there you have it. Those are my 3 cigar must-have essentials. I'm your host, Richard Prophet. This is the Prophet Realty Group channel. This is the King's Watch, and thanks for watching.